Hello everybody and welcome back. And as you can see, we're back and we're playing Kingdom. Oh. As you can see though, it's not the same Kingdom. There's a ghost and she's sort of just pointing me at things and there's random coins everywhere. So this is Kingdom New Lands, and it is the expansion for Kingdom. So what that means, essentially, is that, as you can see, there's slightly different things now. Guys run, and there's supposed to be a lot of, like, different content and stages to the game. Before it used to be just the one world, and it was procedurally generated, and it was somewhat random, but it still has a bit of that. But now apparently there's stages. So there's stages in which you sort of like beat your first kingdom, and then you move on to the next kingdom by building a boat. So we're gonna try and take a look at this, and it's not gonna be as intense as our first playthrough of the game. It's gonna be a bit more cut down, I should hope. So we definitely want to make sure that we're playing this appropriately. So the first things that we're going to do probably is we're going to build up the kingdom, and quite possibly I don't know, I'm just a little bit rambly right now because I'm actually just remembering how mesmerizing this game is, and it's really atmospheric. So it's really great to get back to it. I really do enjoy it, and I have played quite a bit of it. Okay, so here you go. This is what I mean about the new things. This is the boat, which you purchase, and essentially what that means is that you have to move all of your guys all the way through this to get to the boat. Let me just readjust my microphone here because it's been a while since I've been recording, and one of the issues with this microphone is that it can get a little bit lispy at times, or it can make me sound a little bit lispy if it's too close. Okay. First night, not too bad. It's not ideal because I wanted... What happened here? Why? Oh, come on! What the hell? So I don't know what happened and why my guys suddenly decided to stop building. But it was a bit annoying. And I can't even do anything about that. Alright, well, you win some, you lose some, I guess. It's a bit weird because, you know, I distinctly remember how this game works. Yet there's a lot of sort of like interesting little nuances. Like now, the merchant guy has like the same role as the guy as the chest that you got every morning, and you have to pay him to go back, and there's a possibility of not even getting that. I mean, it's interesting. Expansion works a little bit. It's a little bit more nuanced, I think, now. So here is the camp for the merchant, and it's not that far, which is kind of great. But at the same time, oh, a chest. At the same time, it's not great, because if this is probably the best way to expand, then I run the risk of really just trampling over that particular camp, and then I would lose that. Okay, so this, I still don't know 100%. I think it's how you obtain the map. So I think you can't travel anywhere without doing that. And this is the end of the map. Interesting. Okay, so this is the dock. This is where the boat will come. And as you can see, there's no threats on this side of my kingdom, which is good in a way, because then we know that we won't be attacked at all on this side. However, having said that, it would be better if the layout were somewhat different, because I want to expand on this side, but you know, make my farms and make everything on this side, because they're never going to be attacked. But the problem is, I've got these camps. And because I have these camps, I don't know how far I'm going to be able to expand and just rid myself of these little dudes that I need to expand. So I don't want to cut that down. So it's not the best. I'm complaining for complaining's sake, I think, but it would be better if I didn't have to expand that way. So we'll see. I mean, part of this game is expanding and just knowing how to do things and taking risks, and that's essentially what we're going to do. So I am the king of the Armadillo Kingdom, and we fight the forces of the evil scumbag douche-knob Miyazaki aliens. Or anyways, that's the story that I want to tell myself in any case. So you know what? We're just going to expand this way, because there's some farmland here, so I think we'll be able to get away with this if we just cut all these trees down. That'll clear the farmland for me. And meanwhile, we'll see. Okay, there's a stone wall that I can build there, so that's not too bad. Anyways, we have to expand that way because that's where the boat is. So if anyone has any questions as to why certain things happen, because the boat is usually a good answer. Alright, so let's see here. We've got a couple of guys coming in. We've got one little hobo there. So we're going here. Okay, perfect. 1, 2. 1, 2. I think we can get 3. Good. Another thing to probably invest in right now is another builder. So we'll do that. And we'll probably want to expand just a tiny bit. Okay. So we've cleared that land, and that's good. That's going to get us closer to what we want. Just rest up a bit. Apparently there was this thing Okay, there's another farmland here, which is great. Apparently there was this other thing that I never realized from the original kingdom, which is if you stop in grassland, your horse will feed. Now, maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention, but that was sort of a neat little discovery. I don't know, because I started playing Kingdom when it first came out, and then I stopped. So I'm not sure if it's something that came later on. And excellent, we found the monument. All right, so this is a good discovery, and we'll turn back. It's important because getting your walls up to spec is probably one of the things that you do want. Now, I don't know if in this new version of the game you'll always have the wall monument. I'm supposing, I suppose that really would be the case, because I can't really imagine playing this game just with wood walls. And all the times that I've played, it's always been present, including the 2 times that I've actually played the expansion before actually recording. So apparently if I stop here, my horse eats the grass, and then he can run again. Which is great, I'm not going to complain. Okay, so we've got some archers. What about this guy? Okay, that guy's not really giving me anything. These guys gave me a bit of gold. If I go here, will I run into evil Miyazaki monsters? No? Alright, let's just get a little hobo dude. And I think we should be alright. Okay, so we did get an attack. We already know nothing's going to happen on the other side. I keep forgetting. I'm always like constantly paranoid between one side and the other. But we know that that's not going to happen. That this side is entirely safe because there's no way the monsters can actually come through it. So among the things that the game has now, aside from the ship, like I mentioned, you have to build the ship, you have to reach it. That'll go all the way to the port. And once there at the port, you'll be able to select new locations based on your map. The merchant mechanic is also different. Your little guys run around. They're a little bit smarter in terms of how to defend too. They do tend to run when there are attacks. At least I've noticed. Which is great, because that was one of the more sort of like frustrating aspects of the game back when it came out, which was cool. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm not hating on it. In fact, I still actually play the older version, but it's cool to see that the game, finally recognizes that there's a bit of an issue there in terms of AI and patience as well. So it's great to see that they worked on that a bit. It must have been something that people were really asking for, and it makes sense. It's just a way to make the experience of the game better. If you stay true to the simplicity of the game, which is, I don't want to be able to control all the little dudes, but I would like them to be actually smarter and faster when they have to respond to particular issues, which is great. Okay, so we're gonna get that up and running. The other thing that we want here is we want to for sure have a farm, and there's 2. I might actually not do anything here because there's plenty of rabbit land, and I want my guys to actually be able to just shoot the shit out of the rabbits and get me a lot of gold as well. That was probably not the best idea. Those guys are going to run right now to get that farm. Okay. Well, those guys. I'm also just going to run on this end. I don't have to really worry. We know that the attacks are going to come from that side, which is awesome because that means that I can just go ahead and get my horse to be just absolutely tired and have sort of a calm stroll down the woods. Being sort of like reminded of that, I wonder, there's a lot of things, by the way, that I've yet to see in this expansion. There's a lot of like neat things that are going around. There's a lot of things that I've noticed too, which are kind of cool and strange at the same time, and also add a bit of utility. So there was my previous game that I played. I actually ran into some portals and we destroyed them, and then you actually build them up and they become player built portals. And what they do is they sort of, for a bit of gold, I think, they allow you to transport from one end of the map to the other, and I think they can only be used once a day. But it's a great thing because there's a point in this game where it just becomes such a hassle to move from one end of the map to the other that actually having these portals in a very sort of like limited fashion teleport you from one end to anywhere on the map is pretty brilliant. And now we're at the end of day 5. And hopefully we'll be alright. Man, I'm telling you, these guys, it's just pretty amazing. The amount of gold that they're getting. And at the same time, the amount of work that they're putting into this. Okay, so I don't fully remember, but I think that in order to get farmers, you have to invest in that. Yes, and I am correct. So now we'll also go ahead and put some money into this. As you can see, I've got like plenty of money. Another thing that this game, and this again might be a product of me not playing the game much since its initial release and then coming back to it, so, you know, almost a year after. I mean, that's an exaggeration. Coming back to it almost 8 months since when I played it last. This game used to be brutal. And now it's manageable. It sort of like eases you in to the gameplay and the mechanics, and it probably makes for a better experience. Though I will tell you, the excitement that I had while playing the first one was amazing, because you just never knew. And also, I didn't bother to check anything online, because I think that with a game like this, it's best played by sort of experiencing... Oh, look at this crap. Yeah, it's best played by experiencing it the way, you know, old games were played before, which is... You played it, you drew sort of your own conclusions and your own notes on what you thought certain things did, and then you just sort of like took it from there. Like I had no idea what that little guy did there until I started giving him money and realized that he was sort of an accountant. And that's great, because sometimes, and again, I think this is another something where someone realized that that this game needed a couple of tweaks, that there was a need to save money more than what was allowed.